Well, welcome everyone to today's episode of TMI Advice You Didn't Want. We really wanted to jump even more into this whole topic of manifestation because at the end of our last podcast, we were talking about manifestation and it's never your goddamn business when it happens, right? What you create, it's none of your business when it comes into fruition in this 3D reality. So, we're going to really dive into that today. So, in case we haven't met, my name is Karen.
And my name is Ashley. And I think this is a very important topic because
Mhm.
more people than not have said to me, I did all the things. I was meditating, I was affirming, I was believing, I had a vision board, and it didn't work.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, what do you mean it didn't work? Like,
The moment they say it didn't work, it's like you're not in the manifestation anymore. You
yeah,
lost it. It's
yeah,
gone. You're literally living in lack when you go, yeah, but it didn't work.
yeah,
What? Like you said you wanted it. You probably did manifest it into your existence. But now the moment you say, but I don't have it, you're now living in lack and you don't have it anymore. It's
yeah,
gone. You're not in that frequency anymore. So
yeah.
no, you can't create from that frequency the thing that you actually want. This was the thing that I really had to learn. Like, really had to figure this out. And I continue to notice whenever I go, oh, it hasn't, oh, wait, I can't say that. I'm not going to say that because that's silly. That keeps me in lack.
Mhm.
So for me, I really had to patrol my thoughts whenever I would start to go there. Cause I can look back actually. I can actually really see when I started making this change. I can see how I would have the thought, oh, I just created something great in my manifestation. And then I would go out and look for it. And
Mm,
I would go out and be like, oh, it's not here yet. Like that was my reality for a long time in my own business even,
yeah,
where I would be like, oh, but I just created something so good and where is it? And
yeah.
the moment you pick your head up to look for it, it's gone.
Hmm.
It's not going to show up. And
Yeah.
this was hard for me to wrap my brain around. I did it forever. I
Hmm.
did it forever.
Hmm.
And so, okay, so I've never really explained this to you before, Ashley, but whenever I've said, so I had an experience that Ashley and I shared with, and I actually brought it up before this call just now, where a mentor asked me a long time ago, what is it that's keeping you stuck? This, this is what kept me stuck because I was looking for it.
Hmm.
Because I was literally like, but I'm doing all the things. And it was like this, like, bandana in my hat, but I'm doing all the things. And even everyone around me is telling me I'm doing all the things.
Yeah.
So where is it? And I
Yeah.
was looking and looking and looking and looking. And it was like, sometimes it's about being present in what you're doing.
Hmm.
That's the thing that I missed, being present in the moment and going, I love what I've created.
Hmm.
Even if like I hate that I'm adding this in, but I'm doing this just to kind of give like the reference. Even if my 3D reality doesn't necessarily show the big house, the fancy cars, the whatever things, right? Like the present moment when you can look around and go, I am so happy with what I've created right now, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
That's what truly creates. And staying there for all of eternity is what creates faster and faster and faster. And that is the piece of the puzzle that I knew I was missing even back then. This was how many years ago with this? 3 or 4 years ago? I can't remember. But
Awesome.
there was a long time ago. And I knew I was doing it then. I knew that this was the pattern I had to break, but I didn't want to verbalize it because I felt stupid verbalizing it. And I wasn't sure if that mentor would have accepted it. But I knew that me sitting there like frantic, and it was a frantic looking for it.
Mhm.
That's what I did for years. Like this frantic, I said this to a friend this morning. I was in this pattern of frantically trying to get to the end.
Yeah.
And it was keeping me stuck because what is the end? What's the end? The goal is the process. Where you find yourself right now, that's the process, that's the goal.
Yeah.
What do you see? What's in your 3D reality? Keep noticing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the like biggest thing where we talked about on our last podcast about gratitude coming in. Like,
Mm,
gratitude plays such a fucking huge role, like absolutely huge. And even like with my kids, like kids like to complain, you know? They
hmm.
also have adults in their life teaching them to complain. And even teachers probably do it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so like when we're eating food or whatever like that, like I've told them like you have to communicate to me if you don't like something because otherwise I'm going to keep doing it.
Right.
And so I were trying to create this really open like communication space, but then it was like, oh, I think you could have added a little bit more of this. I think you could have done a little bit more of this. Oh, I don't really like this. And so it was getting like hypercritical. And so I'm like, okay, we're going to change it up. We're going to say thank you for making us food. I'm very grateful for this part of it, and I would change this.
Mm,
And so, like, it's like layering it so that they're learning, like, we are thankful, and then this is what we would change. Thankful and thankful, this is what we would change. And so that's now how they do everything. And it's funny because I can see, like, their light bulbs in their head
mm.
be like, oh, they like, sometimes I make something that they really, really don't like, right? Because I like to experiment with different foods. And sometimes I make stuff that none of us like.
That you're even like, I don't like this either.
And so, I can tell like when like my one son takes a bite of something, he's like, oh, quick to be like, I don't like this, and he's like, thank you really much a lot for food today. I'm really glad that you
Mm,
made this for us. I like this part, but this part I don't like so much. You can see
mm,
like he's training himself like in the moment, which
hmm.
we have to do. Like that's what we
Absolutely.
have to do about our life, and it all comes down to, in my opinion, gratitude and trusting the process.
Hmm.
Um, it's this sense of knowing, you know.
Hmm.
And I think I've talked about it on this channel, but I know I've talked about it with you. And it's like I have had significant success in the past. I haven't been a multimillionaire, but I've had significant success, especially given my age and my accident and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And so I'm happy with it. I'm happy with what I have achieved. And I know I'm going to be someone that has six-figure months. Like I
Mm,
just 100% know it. I've had five-figure months, I've had five-figure days, and I know the six-figure months and the six-figure days are going to happen. And I am completely detached from when.
exactly. Yes.
And there are times where I'll message you and I'd be like, it
I'm
would be
having a hard time right now. I'm not detached anymore. It happens. It
well, and
happens.
it still is like detached though, because it's not like I'm not grasping for it, I'm not looking for it.
Mm,
And like I say to you, like it'd be really nice if now was the time that this took off. It'd be really nice if now was the time that this happened. But I still am in a position of gratitude for where I'm at, and I have
mhm,
released when it actually does happen. And
mm.
I think that there's a difference there. Then, like, why hasn't this happened? Why is this
Yeah.
not here? I'm doing all the things.
Yeah.
It hasn't showed up.
Yeah.
There's two different mentalities there, and there's two different vibrational energies. One
Mhm.
is attracting it and trusting and knowing it's coming, but saying it'd be nice if it was now. And the other one is like, it's supposed to be now. It should be now, you know? And that energy is an energy of lack.
I was I was really challenged is probably not the right word, but something a friend of mine, I was on a call and I was talking about how I had created all of this abundance. And then I don't remember what I was continuing to say, but she said that comment was living in lack. And I was like, you're right. It has to just be that. You just say, I have, it's done, and that's it. The end. No more ifs, ands, or buts for me.
Okay.
And it was
So
like,
what did you
yeah,
say? What did you say? Go back because I'm missing that.
I don't remember what I specifically said anymore because we talked about it and I was with this friend
Yeah.
where I was like, well, oh, this is what I said. I was basically like, it hasn't shown up in my 3D reality yet. And she was like, I don't think you need to say that. I
Yeah.
don't think it matters because
Yeah.
it doesn't. It already has been created. And I was like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
I don't need to say anything, but it's already happened, and be done with it and
Yeah.
feel the feeling of what it feels like as it's happened. Because it's not about the money. Like it's not for me. And I said this before on this podcast. It's the freedom. I can have freedom in a prison cell.
Mhm.
Okay. That might sound weird to a lot of people, but it's literally what are the thoughts that I am thinking
Mhm.
in that moment when I'm in a prison cell, right? I could be like, actually, I'm really grateful that I get fed every day. I get TV. I get to go outside. Like
You have no
somebody that's living,
responsibilities.
yeah, somebody that's living like that, that is probably not going to be in prison cell for very long. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's when you go, oh my God, like I actually am pretty free. I don't have to pay bills.
Yeah, I
Like,
actually just saw like
what?
a like little meme or whatever you call them, about like Marge Simpson, and I've never watched an episode of Simpsons in my life. I
Me either.
know
Me too.
I
It
part
hurts me.
I know sometimes I'm intrigued because they're like the Simpsons predict the world, and the conspiracy
Yeah.
in me is like
Yeah.
ooh, and I'm like no, like even
I
just the
can't.
voices, I just am like no, it's
I know I can't either. And
cringeworthy.
my husband loves it and I cannot watch it with him.
No. And so for me, it was just so funny because being a mom is hard, and like being a stepmom, I am sorry, but it's harder. Like it just
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
and I don't know because I'm not a biological mom, but I know people that are both, and
Mm,
every day stepmom.
yeah.
It's not. And so I can relate very well. And so Marge Simpson was in prison for whatever reason, and they were about to release her. And she did something to the guard the day that she needed to be released so she could stay in jail. And I'm like, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, but as I said, somebody that's in prison that has those thoughts probably isn't going to stay there for very long because they've probably figured out a lot where it comes to the
Yeah.
thinking mind and how we really do create so much just by how we think and feel.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, like, uh, it is such a simple concept, but as we said on our last podcast, we are the variable.
Hmm.
So the minute that we start looking for that thing or we feel like, oh, but it's not here yet, it hasn't, like even just saying, as I said, my friend being like, I don't think you need to say that. It's not in my 3D reality yet. And I was like, I said yet. And she's like, yeah, I don't think you need to say that. I don't think that that serves you. And I was like, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that. Because it does put me back into a place of, yeah, well, it hasn't happened yet. Like, who cares? It
Yeah.
has. In a lot of ways, I look back and I'm like, I've actually manifested some really cool things. I was thinking about this morning. I was like, I manifested a car that somebody else paid for.
Hmm.
Recently, I manifested a $400 ice cream machine.
Yeah.
What in the actual fuck? Like, who does that?
Yeah.
That's like the most random thing. But like there was a progression to it too. I had a friend who she had gotten one also, and she was like talking about how much she loved it. This was probably like 2-3 weeks ago before I got it. And she was like, oh my God, this thing is amazing. You should get one. And I put it in my head. I was like, I'm going to get one. And I didn't think any more of it other than that's going to be mine. Like it literally was like, that's mine.
Yeah.
And sure enough, this company reaches out to me and says, hey, would you like this $400 ice cream machine? And yes, I would. And so I can see like those kind of things happening faster and faster and faster and faster.
Hmm.
And to manifest that free car, that took me about 6 months.
Hmm.
To manifest an ice cream machine, I mean, that took me 3 weeks, right? Like that's not very long at all. And I can even see times where I've manifested even faster.
Hmm.
So an example of this one was wild to me. We had a really weird power surge in our house that actually could have burned down our house. It was pretty severe.
Wow.
And Matthew and I both knew that we were going to need a electrician to come help us fix things and the whole deal. Well, the electrician came and quoted us how much it was going to be. And I remember thinking, I don't have that money at this moment, but I know it's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Literally the next day, I get a check in the mail for that amount. And I was like laughing as I'm showing it to Matthew. And I'm like, how is this our life right now? because
Yeah.
neither one of us freaked out about it. We were like, we don't have the money, but we'll figure it out. And we did.
Yeah.
Right. So it's crazy when you actually can take the time to reflect on those things and go, you know what? If I had tried to make that happen, I couldn't have.
Yeah.
That's why it's none of our goddamn business when it does happen,
Yeah.
because the universe knows what needs to happen, how it needs to happen, what it needs to look like, how it needs to show up.
Hmm.
And so for me to try and figure that out with my little brain, my mind, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But the universe already knows.
Yeah.
It already knows, and it's not working off of a finite brain that's in someone's head, right? It just has the all-knowing, and we can tap into that too.
Yeah. Well, and it's like Kevin Trudeau says, like you can manifest what you think you want. Like you manifested that check that you thought you wanted, obviously.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you,
It was
you
very
did.
helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can also leave things up to the universe. And I think there's a time
Yes.
and place for both. But I
Hmm,
think
me
when
too.
you're in that vibrational energy of allowing the universe to take care of it.
Yes.
Like I know that my 6-figure months are happening, my 6-figure days are happening. I don't know when, and I'm letting the universe control that.
Hmm.
And it is what it is. And
Hmm.
I'm also doing the work of what I think I need to do in that moment and all that kind of stuff and doing my best. Um and or what I perceive to be my best and all of those things. But then there's specific things that I know that I want. And maybe I'll get them and I'll be like, I don't actually care.
Yeah, and that's okay.
I love boating and I moved to a place that is literally considered like one of the towns here is called Lake Country. Like we are surrounded by mountains and lakes. And um last year we were traveling a lot and working a lot and it was all good and all great and it didn't make sense for us to own a boat at that time.
Mhm.
But I was like, I really want a boat. And so we had debated renting one. We had looked at buying one and that kind of stuff, and it never worked out. And then a friend of ours was like, hey, I'm going out of town for 3 weeks and I'm not going to be using my boat. Do you want it? And I was like,
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
do.
I do. I do. Hmm.
And it was like that worked out. So the whole last month of the summer, I had a boat
Mm.
and it costed me nothing. I literally put gas in it and that was it. And
Perfect.
I didn't have to rent one, I didn't have to buy one, I didn't have to do anything. So,
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing. Whoever is listening to this right now could probably look at their life and go, "Oh, I've done that before."
mhm,
Because you have done this before. This isn't something that's new. It's not rocket science, but we get in our own head.
yes.
This is the thing that keeps us stuck. We get in our own head, we get in our own way.
Yeah.
Instead of feeling, the feeling is what creates, right? Like the thought is like, ooh, that would be great to have.
Mhm.
We don't have to think our way about getting to it. We just feel our way to it
Yeah.
because the feeling is what knows, right? The brain thinks, but the heart knows.
Yeah.
So just allow your heart and your feeling to just draw that to you
Yeah.
instead of trying to think about how this was the other very brutal mistake that I made in my business for years too, where I would try to like overthink my way out of it, right? I'd be like, well, what if I do this? What if I do that? What if I do this? What if I do that? And it was like all over the place. It wasn't enough of me being like, okay, let's do this for a little while, see how it goes.
Mhm.
Let's do this next. And like, it wasn't like that. It was like frantic. How do I get everything done all at once? And that is not effective at all. You feel like you're getting a lot of stuff done, air quotes, but you're really not moving forward in a specific direction. And so, of course, the universe is going to be confused with that too, because you're trying to do everything and now you're doing nothing.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like in marketing, the whole concept of if everybody is your target audience, then nobody is because they don't know who you're talking to.
Mhm.
Same thing with the universe too, where it's like the universe, it's not necessarily getting confused, but you're confused. So you're going to create more confusion.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So, yeah.
And that's the problem is like how we are the variable. And so when we are like, oh, I did my meditation, I did my affirmations and it's not working, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so what happened when that driver cut you off? What
Yes.
happened when you're trying to manifest more money to buy a new car and your car didn't turn over and you needed to get boosted? You know?
Yes.
Like
How did you feel when that happened?
so like those are important places too. Like it's trusting, but it's also having the awareness to be like you're not doing the things. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Like just because you check two boxes doesn't mean you stayed there. Doesn't mean that
Right.
where you kept living. Um yeah, it's very important to have that awareness throughout your whole day and check
Yeah.
yourself.
And that is a process. I will say that. So I've been following Dr. Joe for 10 years now, really truly been following and doing his meditations for about five. Um, and when I first started, it was like, oh, I'm doing the meditation and I can feel the difference, right? But I knew there was something that I was missing because I was like, okay, I'm feeling different, but I'm feeling different for the hour that I'm meditating.
Mhm.
So the thing that really pointed it out to me was I would watch a lot of testimonials of people that had created either tons of wealth or people that had created massive health in their body, whatever it was. And the thing that they said made the difference was instead of just meditating for an hour of a day and then going and living the rest of their life, they actually would stop themselves when they would say something, when they would do something, when they would, whatever they were doing that was not in alignment with what they had just created in their meditation. When they started doing that consistently throughout the day, that's when the magic happened for them. And I can say that's true for me too,
Yeah.
because the moment that say for example you have your meditation and then you go in the car and somebody cuts you off and you start screaming at them, you lost it. You
Yeah.
lost the feeling.
Mhm.
You're not in that feeling anymore. Now you're frustrated. That's a very limited emotion.
Yeah.
And those limited emotions are going to keep us creating more limited emotions over and over and over again of more frustration, anger, overwhelm, whatever you want to put in there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the minute that you connect with that present moment, oh my God, it's so magical. When you connect with that present moment and you stay for a majority of your day in that present moment and you feel the feelings of your wealth, the feelings of your health, the feelings of whatever you want to create, you
Mhm.
continue to stay there.
Mhm.
You better buckle up because something is going to happen. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
And don't stop asking the question, when's it going to happen? Stop looking for it.
Yeah.
Stop it. It's none of your business.
Yeah.
It's none of your business because that's part of the lesson too.
Mhm.
Ooh, that's a hard lesson. Ugh.
Well, yeah, that's the whole like the hardest part of it because
Yeah.
people start doing law of attraction and people start doing manifestation because they want more out of life.
Yeah.
They have a small understanding that they can create the life that they want. And so then when they start doing the things and the creation's not following, like that's why they're doing it. So it's like
Mm,
this frustration is so significantly there initially, I find, because I think everyone goes through that phase.
yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, you can see anybody that has first heard, this is how I was when I first heard about the law of attraction. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. How come nobody ever told me this? So
Yeah.
you start putting it into practice and then you're like, nothing's happening. I don't get it. What am I missing? And you're like looking for what you're missing. And the more you ask the question, what am I missing? You just keep missing it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how else to say it other than the thought that you're thinking is what you're creating, right? What am I missing? Well, you're missing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's it. That's the thing you're going to keep creating over and over again. So, for me, one of the most profound and also can be very difficult ways to rewire my brain has just been to notice when I have a thought that's contrary to what I want to create in my life. And then when I notice it, I go, okay, this is the thought I want to replace it with.
Mhm.
And I try to have the thought planned before I get to that situation. So I know if I've been struggling with time or whatever, and I have the thought I need to hurry up, then I have to already have the thought of what I want to replace it with before I get to that situation. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep thinking, I need to hurry up.
Yeah.
So instead, I just remind myself, you know what? Things happen exactly when they're supposed to for me.
Yeah.
And that immediately makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I have at least 5 or 6 thoughts that are always in my back pocket
Hmm.
that no matter what, I can slip it into that situation that's happening. And then I can like slowly reprogram. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have to think like that. I can think like this.
Hmm.
And the more I do that, that becomes the default.
Hmm.
That becomes the continuation.
Yeah. And the important thing to remember is that there's other people playing the same game.
Mm-hmm.
So when I like my go-to is everything always works out for my best interest.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even sound right, but everything always works out for me and my highest good. I don't
Mm,
know why I went best interest, but it like
that's okay. You
you would
fixed it.
think. Okay. So, and I say it like multiple times a day. Everything always works out for my highest good. And then if there's situations that involve like my partner or my kids or other people, it's like everything always works out for my family. Everything always works out for my kids. Everything always works out for um our highest good. And so I'll affirm those things. So right now I've been going through court for my children's best interests, like my perceived children's best interest for the last 4 years. And I remember talking to my mentor and being like, how is this taking so long? And she's like, because there's other people playing the game too. So
Mhm.
there's other people manifesting negative things. There's other people that are not manifesting for your kids' highest good. And then you also have to think about like, okay, so um my kids are talking about how at the other house they get physically abused. And so if you were to get like primary full custody and all those kind of things, would there be more significant problems that arise from that with the other party lashing out? Would there be, like,
Mm,
could that result in an outcome in some way that was actually worse? And I
mm,
remember, like, even when we started this whole court thing, my partner said to me, um, I can foresee if we ever got primary custody that and this is before we knew there was physical abuse happening, but he had seen it happen when they were together. He said,
mm,
I could see my ex going as far as to remove her and the children from this earth. And
mm,
and so it's like, so we don't know. And like this is
mm.
really heavy and this is really like extreme. But it's just like a very, very personal life lesson when I'm like, okay, what is going on? How is this in my children's best interest? How, like,
Yeah.
because I struggle with trusting this process. Like, everyone
Mhm,
struggles with specific processes in their
mhm,
life that they're attracting. This is mine. This is the
mm.
biggest struggle is how is this still happening to my children? And it's like, because we don't know what another person might do if you get what you think is best,
Yeah.
there's so many variables because everyone is a variable,
Mhm,
and so there's things that are outside of your awareness
mhm.
that you have to just trust the process.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I think is the most important piece of it is figuring out how to enjoy the process.
Yeah.
That is also like it sounds simple, but it's not always when we're like, I really hate that I have to, in your situation, do all this stuff for court. I hate that I have to do that. Well, what's a new way to look at it?
Yeah.
I mean, as you said, that like maybe this is just another step towards me being able to do what I need to for these kids. Like that feels better immediately than I hate this process. This
Yeah.
sucks, right? Like this was something I really had to figure out very deeply whenever I was working full time at the hospital.
Hmm.
Because for me, I didn't love being there because I could feel the energies and it was very intense energy. And so instead of getting sucked into the energy and going, oh, I hate this, because now I'm just corroborating with that energy, I
Hmm.
started asking myself, what am I grateful for around this situation? And I finally got to because the money's whatever. That makes you feel good, but only for a time. I feel like the thing that I got to was I actually really love my coworkers. They're actually really fun to work with, and I do enjoy my interaction with my patients.
Yeah.
And so I really had to sit with that for a long time because for a while I would be like, oh, I just really love the paycheck. But that only gets you so far. I'm sorry. Like, yes, anesthesia pays really well. Okay, great. Good for me.
Yeah.
But that's not the feeling I'm looking for. I'm
Yeah.
looking for a feeling that can actually keep me doing something for however long the
Hmm.
universe keeps me in this position, right? And so I really had to be like, okay, I actually really am grateful for my coworkers. They are really cool people.
Hmm.
And once I really started doing that over and over and over again, I started realizing, wait, I don't have to work every day. Wait, I can work 2 days. Wait, I can work one day. Holy shit. Like, this is the progression. And you can kind of see, like, this is one thing that I said to you recently, Ashley. I really feel like my purpose has been to really figure this out on a detailed level
Hmm.
because I look back at my experience, especially with my business, and just about everything has pointed to get to the details of how come something's not working,
Hmm.
right? Get to the details. Because if I'm being honest with anybody, I am a very broad, big picture person. And sometimes I don't like always to jump into the details, but the details actually, once I learned this step by step process, it's like, oh, this makes it easier, right? So, an example of this is like social media. When I first started on social media, I would post things and hope something stuck, right? Like I did a lot of I would do research on what other people were doing, but my process is so refined now
Hmm.
that I can tell you in detail what I do and how I do it. I couldn't have done that before. I
Yeah.
couldn't have given you a detailed understanding. And I feel like it's the same way when I look at learning and truly understanding manifestation. I
Hmm.
really had to get super detailed with it and how it worked because I knew if I understand how it worked for me, I could help other people understand how it works as well. And I feel like that's really been in a lot of ways my, I don't know, calling purpose. I don't feel like that fits, but that's kind of been my journey in life, is to really figure it out so that I can share with other people what
Hmm.
did I do to get where I got.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, when they get on this journey, they feel similar.
Mm, yeah. I mean, because you look around after you've been on this journey and you're like, ooh, I can see the mirror of where I was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, they don't have to live with like that either.
Mhm.
So how can I help other people understand that that's not how they have to be either, that they can actually break out of the matrix and do something completely different
Yeah.
and not feel so stuck and so like this is how life has to be. I know I felt like that for years. Like I was told from childhood,
Mhm.
like you go to school, you get good grades, you go to college, you get good grades, you get a good job, and that's what you do for the rest of your life, right? I was raised by boomers too. So that doesn't help my situation. But like now I look at it and I'm like, it's not quite like that. Like there's a lot more possibility to life if we're open to it. And it's kind of like my parents are not, they're, I would call them pragmatists, and manifestation is not a word that they would even touch at all, right? Because it's not really a pragmatic way of looking at things. But it makes more sense when you look at yourself as the creator because you can kind of see how you created that by when you really look at your emotions and your feelings. I can see how come I created feeling stuck in my business for years
Yeah.
because that's how I felt in life.
Yeah.
And I kept doing it over and over and over and over again. And I was really good at it. I was a pro at feeling stuck. And I just have no desire to feel that way anymore. And so I'm like, how does freedom feel? And
Yeah.
I can call it up right now just thinking about it. And I'm getting chills just calling it up because I know how that feels so in depth because I do it in my meditation every day. And then I watch myself during the day. What am I saying? What am I doing?
Yeah.
How am I living?
Yeah.
And that's what creates the change. That is where you can wake up one day and go, my life is so different.
Mhm.
Whether or not your 3D reality reflects it on the outside doesn't matter.
No.
Inside is what matter. The people that change their health, their wealth, that do Dr. Joe's stuff, they say like without fail, almost every single one of them, I don't really care about the result.
Mm-hmm.
It's who I became in the process.
Yeah.
That I would pay $1,000,000 for that,
Mm-hmm.
because who I became in the process was so much better than what I received as a result of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Loving yourself and being content and happy and fun and all the things.
mhm.
There's so many people that are absolutely plagued with what is someone going to think about me? Why did someone look at me like that? Or just completely internally judgmental. And it's just I do not want to ever spend a minute there.
Mm-mm. No, because that doesn't feel good.
Mm-mm.
And sometimes I'll be honest, like sometimes I find myself there in a comparison way. Does that make sense? Where I look at somebody and go, oh, like there's a seed of jealousy that pops up. And I'm like, no, 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 no. We're not doing that. That doesn't feel good. What's a new thought? The new thought is, isn't it great that I know what I want to create?
Mhm.
Isn't it great that I already know that?
Mhm.
That feels way better than, oh damn, they're doing really good and I'm struggling over here.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, this was a good one. I mean, we got more content for next time. How's that? So friends, if you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and give us a like, give us a subscribe. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast host, go ahead, give us a 5-star, leave us a comment, let us know what you're thinking as well. So with that, we're going to call TMI Advice You Didn't Want a wrap for today. See everyone next time.